Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next day in the 1987 American League Full Replay. We finished April 20th with the Yankees in Detroit previously, but one thing I had forgotten to do in that day was go over the other games played that day, but kind of too late for that now. So we're at April 21st, but so before we get to our game of the day, which is Toronto and Cleveland, we'll go over the scores from the previous games. Starting with the Milwaukee Brewers continuing their hot ways. They defeated the White Sox 7-4. Brewers now 12-2. Sox down to 8-5. Mark Ciardi, the winner, 2-0. Chris Bosio, his second save. Joel Davis takes the loss. He's now 0-2. No home runs in the game, surprisingly enough. Just a lot of singles and steals and a couple of doubles thrown in and some wild pitches and all sorts of stuff. But 7-4, the Brewers win it. They improve to 12-2 and stay atop the American League East. Moving over to Boston, the Kansas City Royals with a comeback victory over the Red Sox. Red Sox now drop to 2-12. Kansas City at 6-7, wasting a very good outing by Roger Clemens, who went 8 innings, giving up 2 runs, 8 hits and 2 runs, struck out 13. But he was pulled after 8 innings in a 2-2 game. Calvin Schiraldi came in, and in the top of the ninth, Schiraldi gave up a single to Bo Jackson, and then a double from Jamie Quirk scored Bo Jackson to make it a 3-2 game. Quisenberry came in and shut the door in the ninth to save it for Steve Farr, who was the winner at 1-0. Quisenberry, his first save. Home runs of the game, Thad Bosley, his first, and that was the only home run of the game. So Red Sox fall. They left 11 runners on base. That certainly didn't help their cause. They fall 3-2. Next, we go down to the heart of Texas, where the Texas Rangers, behind a 3-hit shutout from Charlie Huff, bested the Baltimore Orioles by the score of 8-0. Huff improves to 3-1. Mike Flanagan takes the loss 0-2. He gave up 5 runs in the first 2 innings. No home runs in the game again, but lots of singles, walks, and doubles. Texas improves to 5-7. Orioles drop to 4-10. Moving on to New York, the Yankees with a comeback victory over the Tigers, 4-3. Tigers led it 3-1 going to the bottom of the ninth. Then in the bottom of the ninth against Mark Thurman, Ricky Henderson led off with a walk. Rick Cerrone singled. Wayne Tollison sacrificed him over, and Claudel Washington a 2-run single. An RBI single to make it 3-2, and then Willie Randolph a sacrifice fly to tie it in the ninth. And then the bottom of the 10th, Dave Winfield led off with his 4th home run of the season against Nate Snell, and that was the difference. Snell drops to 0-1. Cecilio Guante pitched 2 shutout innings to get the win, 1-0. Again, Yankees now 9-5, Tigers 5-8. Moving on to Minnesota, it is the Twins over the Mariners, 7-5. Twins now 6-8. Mariners drop to 7-8. Winning pitcher was Les Straker. He's 1-1. Loser Mike Trujillo 1-2, and Jeff Reardon picks up his second save of the season. Home runs in the game, Gary Gaetti his second, and I think that was it. Yep, that's it. Just Gary Gaetti his second. Not a whole lot distinctive in that game, although Greg Gagnon did go 2 for 3 rather, with 2 runs scored from the number 9 position. But Gaetti, certainly the home run, 2-run homer in the second, kind of set the tone as they win it 7-5 over the Mariners. Final game of the day before this one coming up is California and Oakland. And again, the Oakland A's continue their hot ways, 12-3 on the season. California drops to 4-10. Jose Blame It on Rijo improves to 2-0 for the A's. Eckersley picks up his 4th save with this shutout 9th inning. Chuck Finley takes the loss. He's 1-2 as Oakland scored 3 runs in the top of the 8th. All of those couple of singles here, but then the big blow was a triple from Carney Lansford. That was the big blow that was the deciding factor. Home runs in the game, Terry Steinbach his second, and Devon White his first. That was it. So there's your recap from the games played on April the 21st. And then we can get going now to April 20. I'm sorry, we can get on to the last game of April 21st. On April 27th, or 22nd rather, we will be in Minnesota to see the Seattle Mariners taking on the Minnesota Twins. That will be the next game on the video for April 22nd. But right now it is Tom Candiotti on the mound for the Cleveland Indians against Jimmy Key for the Blue Jays. Candiotti has been struggling. He's 0-1 with an 8.10 ERA, 17 innings pitched, 26 hits, 10 walks, 9 strikeouts, and 5 long balls. So he can certainly use a good outing, to say the least. Jimmy Key is the polar opposite of that. As Jimmy Key, if we look at his numbers on the replay, he is 3-0 with a 1.50 ERA. So he's definitely been one of the top pitchers in the league, if not the top pitcher in the league, and Candiotti has been struggling, but that's why you play the game. There you see the starting lineups for both teams, the benches and the bullpens. Ballpark effects, singles are 1-11 for both. Home runs are 1-8 for lefties, 1-11 for righties. Pitcher-catcher combination for hold and catcher arm. Jimmy Key, a -5. Jimmy Key is a -6, and then Witt is a 0, so -5 is as high as you can go or as low as you can go. Candiotti's a +3. He's a +2 hold, and then Bando's a +1 arm. Wild pitch rating for Candiotti is a 13, balk's a 4. Wild pitch rating for Key is a 6, balk is an 8. Cleveland won the real game 5-0, but we'll see what happens. Toronto enters the game 9-4. Cleveland enters the game 7-7. So with all those prelims out of the way, let's get moving. Tony Fernandez, shortstop, will lead off for the Blue Jays, and I've got our red and white dice for the Indians. I know they have blue in the uniform, but I wanted to differentiate that from Toronto. All right, so Tony Fernandez hitting .321, no homers, 3 runs driven in, and this April 21st game from the Mistake by the Lake is now underway. We get a 5-6 switch hitter batting left-handed. 5-6 is a 1 double. Anything else he flies to right, that's an 8. It will be a fly out to right field, and Carmen Castillo hauls that in. Corey Snyder, who usually plays right, is actually playing shortstop in this game. A little bit different lineup there for Cleveland. Here's Willie Upshaw, first baseman. And Upshaw's hitting, he's struggling. He's hitting a .180. No homers and 2 runs driven in. 5-9, left-handed. That's a fly to center. Hauled in out there by the center fielder Gallagher. Of course, Butler is on the DL. He will come back at the first part of May. But right now they're having to try to get by without him. 2 down for Lloyd Mosby, speaking of center fielders. He is the Blue Jays center fielder, hitting .304, 2 homers, 13 driven in. That's a 2-9 against the Candiotti, the right-hander. It's a ground ball to second. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Tom Cotton Candiotti. So far the knuckleball is working. Not a very good 0 there, is it? Well, that's all right. It looks like a alien head or something. We'll deal with it. Like I said, my penmanship is not my strong suit. I fully admit it. Not that I have a lot of strong suits, but that's definitely not one of them. All right, here is Jimmy Key. 3-0, 1.50 earned run average. 24 innings pitched, 17 hits, 7 walks, 19 strikeouts, 2 home runs allowed. And leading off for the Indians will be Julio Franco, shortstop. And Franco's hitting .354, homer and 8 runs driven in. So he's certainly been doing the job for Cleveland early on. 1-4 to the lefty is a leadoff walk. So Franco gets on again. The problem is you got a -5 hold. So to get the lead, even if you get the lead, it may not be to your advantage, but you know what? They're going to try it anyway. He's a 19, so if you get the lead, that's a minus. It'd still be a 1-12. You'd have a 60% chance. So they're not going to. He's not fazed by that. He's going to try to get the lead 2 through 5. He does not get the lead, so moot point. So Julio Franco will stay at first base, and that'll bring up first baseman Pat Tabler. He's hitting .438, leading the league in hitting, 2 homers and 13 runs driven in 64 at bats. Key, 2-8, left-handed. That's a single to left field. And with the ball hit to left field, Franco will stop at second base. But Cleveland has the first two on against Jimmy Key. And that brings up the heart of the order, Joe Carter coming to the plate. Joe Carter, though, is struggling, a .132 and 68 at bats. 1 homer, 3 runs driven in, walked 5, but struck out 16 times. Nothing on the havoc. Infield looking to turn 2 on Joe Carter. 5-6, right-handed. He's going to strike out, and Joe Carter's misery continues. He's still a few years away from touch 'em all Joe. That's for sure. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, Andre Thornton. And Thornton hitting .250, 10 out of 40. No homers and 1 run driven in. Infield still at the halfway point for the double play. 6-3, that's a ground ball. Pitcher X, we're looking at Jimmy Key. He is an E17, he's a 2E17. 2E17, 2 and a 15 for Jimmy Key. A 2 and a 15 is a G1. This could be a double play to end the inning if he doesn't make an error. E17, he's got to avoid 3, 6, 11, 12, and 17. And he does, so it's going to be a double play. It's going to go 1 to 4 to 3, and the inning is over. So Jimmy Key gets out of the mess, as pretty much only Jimmy Key can do, by inducing that double play. And we played 1 inning in Cleveland with no score. So it looked promising for the Tribe, but Jimmy Key says, not so fast, my friend. And now Candiotti's back out. Thought he was going to get some run support, but that didn't happen. And that'll bring up George Taco Bell. And on the replay, Bell is hitting .333. 17 out of 51. 5 homers and 17 runs driven in. 2-8 for Bell. Ground ball to third. Brooke Jacoby takes care of that. 1 away. And that will send up the right fielder, Jesse Barfield, hitting .340. 2 homers and 15 runs driven in. 4-6, and that's a walk. So first free pass issued by Candiotti. And we'll see if Barfield, no, he will not even be held. And that'll bring up the crime dog, Fred McGriff, the designated hitter. McGriff, this is early in his career. He's hitting .207 in 29 at-bats. 2 homers and 3 runs driven in. Havoc roll, nothing happening. Infield looking to turn 2 again. 6-7, and that's a ground ball, shortstop X. Ground ball, shortstop X. Since Barfield's not being held, there's no detracting from the shortstop range. So shortstop in this case. Snyder, though, is a 4E48. This could be where they hurt playing Snyder there. He's a 4. This is going to be trouble. 4 and 18, though. He might have caught a break. In fact, I know he caught a break. 4 and 18 is a G1. This is a possible double play. However, he's got an E48. So he's got to avoid 3, 6, 12, 15, 16, and 18. And he does barely. That's a 7. So it's a good play. It's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. So one double play deserves another, I guess. And Corey Snyder, not known for his fielding, but in this instance, he turns it. He and Franco get it done, and that's going to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the second, no score from Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. And much as happens in real world, when somebody makes a nice defensive play, they lead off the next inning, and that's exactly what's going on here with Corey Snyder. So Snyder, in fact, let me get this card out of here. Corey Snyder will lead it off. And Snyder is hitting .281, 3 homers, 7 driven in. 1-9, and a left-handed struck him out. 1 away. And this is the part of the season where, at least we've gotten this far into the season, where I feel like the batting averages are getting closer and closer to being relevant, where we've had the sample size is getting to be larger enough. When you get over 100 bats, that's when you really start to get that, but we're not there yet, but we're getting close. All right, case in point, Brooke Jacoby. I said, I mistakenly said that Tabler was leading the league in hitting. It's actually Brooke Jacoby leading the league in hitting. He's 464. 4 homers and 18 runs driven in. So 1 and 2 in the league in hitting is Brooke Jacoby and Pat Tabler. 2-7 left-handed. He's going to draw base on balls. So that won't hurt the average at all. He will not go anywhere and not be held. And that brings up Carmen Castillo, right fielder. Castillo hitting 385 in just 13 at-bats, though. 2 homers and 4 driven in. Nothing on the Havoc. 2-5, and that is another walk. So back-to-back free passes issued by Key. So Key not having the cleanest of outings right now. 2 on, 1 out. And that will bring up Dave Gallagher, the center fielder. He does not have a card from Strat-O-Matic, so I had to print my own. Computerized card. Don't know how well it shows up on the video, but do what we have. 2, chance of a balk or a pass ball. That's a 3, chance of a balk. Jimmy Key's balk rating is an 8. 1 to 8, he will balk. It's a 9, he just avoids it. So Gallagher steps to the plate. And Gallagher is hitting, he's 0 for 13. Does have a walk and a strikeout, and he does have a stolen base, but he's 0 for 13. 6-9, and that's going to be another walk. So Jimmy Key has walked the bases loaded. Very unusual for Jimmy Key to be doing this. But the bases are now loaded. And that's going to bring up Chris Bando, the catcher. He is a double play candidate, though. So the infield looking to turn 2. Chris Bando hitting 231, a homer and 5 runs driven in. But Jimmy Key's got to get himself back in the strike zone. That's a 1-7, and that's a pop out to second base. Infield fly rule is called by the umpire. And there's 2 away. Jimmy Key 1 out away from getting out of this. Back to the top of the order for Julio Franco. Infield back to normal now. Still have the Havoc roll. Nothing happening. Franco walked his first time up. Jimmy Key has walked 4 batters already. 3-5, and that's another walk. He's going to force in a run with his 5th walk of the game. Really, really unusual this is happening, but it is. It's his 5th walk in 2 innings, and that one he's walked four guys this inning. That's what caused the run. There's no defense for the walk, and that's going to put your defenders on their heels as well. Here's Tabler. He usually, just by tradition, is very productive in the clutch, especially with the bases loaded. On his card, actually, he does not have any clutch ratings on his card. Very interesting. But I think traditionally he had been really, really good with the bases loaded. Not sure about clutch, but with the bases loaded, he had a good average. 3-7, and that's a fly ball to left that's going to end the inning. But a run is in for Cleveland on the bases loaded walk. And at the end of 2, it is Cleveland 1 and Toronto nothing. And Jimmy Key is going to have to talk with Ernie Witt and see if they can't figure out how to get the ball in the strike zone. And speaking of Ernie Witt, he's going to lead off the top of the 3rd. Witt is hitting 289. No homers, 5 runs driven in. Now Candiotti finds himself with a 1-run lead. 6-10, ground ball third base X. That's Gruber. I'm sorry, that's Jacoby. He's a 4.25. So Cleveland not very good with the defense. A 4 and a 14, he might get away with it. 4 and a 14, it's a G3, so he'll get to it. But it's an E25, and he's got to avoid 6, 8, 13, 15, and 17. And he barely does, but it's a good play nonetheless. Barely is all you need. So Jacoby, a tough hop, but handles it. Throws over to the first baseman Tabler for 1 away. That'll bring up Kelly Gruber. He is hitting .444 in just 18 at-bats, 2 homers and 4 runs driven in. 5-9, and that's a fly to center. Gallagher hauls it in, 2 down for the number 9 hitter, Mike Sharperson. Sharperson is hitting .225, no homers, 5 runs driven in. 3-7 for Sharperson is a strikeout, and that's going to end the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Blue Jays, and we go the bottom of the third. It's still Toronto trailing Cleveland 1-0. And now Jimmy Key has to come back out and figure out what the strike zone is. So he has been having issues. He's had 5 walks in 2 innings. All right, here's Joe Carter. 5-9, and that is a fly to right field. Hauled in by Barfield, 1 away. And Andre Thornton, the DH, hit into a double play his first time up. 3-5 against the lefty is a fly to left field. 2 down. So 2 up and 2 down for Corey Snyder, shortstop. 6-6 against the right-hander. That's trouble. 1-5 is a double. That's a 19, though, so it'll be a 2-out single for Corey Snyder. Snyder will not be held, will not try to go anywhere. And Brooke Jacoby is your batter. Jacoby walked and scored his first time up. 4-8 against a right-hander. He lines it to second base. Sharperson snags it, and that's going to end the inning. So at the end of 3 complete from Cleveland, it is Cleveland 1, Toronto nothing. Somewhat of a surprise, you could say. And Candiotti will be coming back out. Both pitchers have fatigue numbers of 7, so they can go quite the distance as long as they're effective. And for Jimmy Key, as long as he's not walking 15 people. And somehow this thing got out of focus. I apologize for that. At least I think it did. I don't know how, but it did. So that's the thing when I'm recording. I can't really tell when something goes out of focus because the phone is above my head. Unless I stand up, and then it's hard to play while I'm standing up. I prefer sitting down. But I can't see what's going on. So that's the only downside to the recording part. Other than how long it takes to upload it. Anyway, here's Tony Fernandez. 1-6 to Fernandez. A 1-2 is a triple. That's a 14. It will be a double. So Tony Fernandez, a leadoff double. And the Blue Jays are in business. Fernandez will be held at second base. He runs very well. And now here's Willie Upshaw. 2, that's a chance of a balk or a pass ball. That's a 3, chance of a balk. And the balk rating, balk rating is Candiotti's a 4. 1-4 for a balk. No balk. So we're good to go. Keep going. Here's Upshaw. 3-3 against the right-hander. And that's a 1-11 home run. That's a 16. It'll be another double. Back-to-back doubles. And just like that, Toronto quick strike offense has tied the game. Upshaw will not be held at second. But we have a tie game just that quickly. 1-1 our score. Nobody out. Brand new ball game. 1 chance of a wild pitch. And the wild pitch rate on Candiotti is a 13. So 1-13, he uncorks a wild pitch. And he does. So maybe getting a little flustered. Now, with Upshaw at first and nobody out, they're going to play the infield in. That's going to draw the infield in against Lloyd Mosby. 5-8. Pop up to first. That'll help as he gets Mosby to pop up without an advancement of any kind. One away, and that's going to send us to George Taco Bell. Infield still in. Candiotti trying to wiggle his way out of this and minimize the damage. 5-5, and he won't do it. That's a solid double for George Bell. Third double of the inning. So the wild pitch had no effect because that double would have scored him anyway. And the Blue Jays take a 2-1 lead. 3 doubles in the inning. So they're getting to Candiotti the second time through the order. And now here is Barfield. Bell not being held at second. 2, so a chance of a balk or a pass ball. Chance of a pass ball this time, and the pass ball rating on Bando is a 9. 1-9, we have a pass ball. We do not. He blocks it. So it keeps Bell at second with 1 out for Jesse Barfield. 4-8, and that's a strikeout and a big one for Candiotti. He needed it. And now, clutch situation for Fred McGriff. McGriff hit into a double play his first time up. 1-9, he's going to strike out. So that's going to end the inning, but 2 runs for the Blue Jays. And keep in mind, this is McGriff's rookie season. He only hit 247 this year, so not his complete rookie season, but he's, early in his career, so he's not the Hall of Fame type Fred McGriff just yet. All right, so we go to the bottom of the 4th, and all of a sudden Jimmy Key is back in the lead, which is not a good thing if you're the Cleveland Indians. Had him on the ropes, and you couldn't do more damage. Here's Castillo, 4-6, and that's a fly to center. Mosby puts it away. 1 down for Gallagher, center fielder. 4-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Fernandez. He's a 1, so you know he's going to get to it. E17, just has to avoid 15 through 17, which he does easily. 2 up and 2 down for Chris Bando, number 9 hitter. And how things have changed in this game. It looked like they had Key on the ropes, and now it looks like Key is getting in a groove. 5-8, switch everybody right-handed is another strikeout. Actually, that's just the third strikeout for Jimmy Key. But it's a 1-2-3 inning, and at the end of 4, the Blue Jays now lead it 2-1, and things seem to be going in their direction. Candiotti back out to face Witt, Gruber, and Sharperson, bottom portion of the Blue Jay order. And Witt grounded to third base his first time up on a nice play by Jacoby. 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. This time it's Franco. He's a 2E26. 2-16, he'll get to that. E26 has to avoid 13, 15, and 17. Barely, it's a 14, so he does make the play. Nip and tuck, actually not 4-3, not 6-3. 4-3 put out for Ernie Witt. 1 away for Kelly Gruber. 3-7, struck him out. Gruber out on strikes for out number 2. And that'll send up Sharperson. Struck out his first time up. 1-9. And this time he will get a base hit. It's actually going to be a double. 1-17, that's a 12. It's a 2-out double for Sharperson. That's the 4th double for the Blue Jays. They've had 4 hits. They've all been doubles. Sharperson in scoring position will not be held, though. He's not the swiftest of runners. Runs at a 12. He's not lightning, so they won't hold him on. Clutch situation for Tony Fernandez. And in the clutch, Fernandez doesn't have any effect at all, apparently, on the clutch. So Fernandez is up. Doubled and scored his last time up. 311, and that's a ballpark single. First time going to the ballpark, I believe. 311 is a ballpark single. That's an 11, but that's a 12. So that will be a line out to second base. Franco snares it, and the inning is over. So just that close to getting a base hit, but not quite. Go to the bottom of the fifth, still 2-1. Favor the Jays. And Jimmy Key will be taking on Julio Franco in the top of the order. The last 8 batters, he's retired the last 7 of the last 8 batters he has faced. So he's been kind of getting in a groove. Franco, your batter. Walked twice. 1-7. 1-8's a double. That's a 7. It'll be a double for Julio Franco. So back comes the Tribe. Leadoff double for Franco, and he will be held at second base because he runs very well. So he will be held at second base. And here is Pat Tabler. Nothing on the havoc. Here's the pitch to Tabler. 2-12 against a left-hander is a foul out behind the plate. And Ernie Witt will put it away for out number 1. And that'll send up Joe Carter. Key to Carter. Oops, Suadice. We will re-roll that again. It's a 5-10 right-handed. Catcher X. Catcher is Witt. He's a 2-2. 2-13. 2-13 is a pop-out. Will it be an error? His error rating is an E2. So E2, he just has to avoid 317 and 18. Which he does. So foul out to Witt, and now a regular pop-up in fair territory to Witt. 2 quick outs for Jimmy Key, and now he's 1 batter away from getting out of it. Andre Thornton in a clutch situation. He's not rated for clutch either. Funny how they have clutch for the hitters, but they don't have clutch for the pitchers. I wonder if that's something they could ever thought of, doing clutch for pitching. I guess it's factored in. I don't know. 4-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That is Fernandez. He's a 1. He is a 1. Second baseman's doing the holding on Franco, so he's not affected. So we know he's going to get to it with 2 outs. We don't have to worry about what happens. We're just worrying about an error. Got to avoid 15, 16, and 17. And he does, and that's going to end the inning. So after the leadoff double, Jimmy Key pitches around it. And we go to the 6th inning. Score still 2-1. Favor of the Blue Jays. And Willie Upshaw will lead things off, followed by Mosby and Bell. Here in the top of the 6th of a 2-1 Blue Jays lead. 1-6, and that's a fly to center. Hauled in by Gallagher, 1 away. Takes us to Lloyd Mosby. 0 for 2. 6-6 left-handed, 1-14 is a single. That's a 20 though, so he will line it to second. And that is out number 2. Mosby couldn't quite get the result he wanted. And that'll send up George Bell. Doubled his last time up. It's a 2-4 for Bell. And he grounds it right back to Candiotti to end the inning. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Blue Jays. And we go to the bottom of the 6th, still 2-1. Favor of the guys north of the border. Jimmy Key back out. Will be facing Thornton, Snyder. Snyder, Jacoby, and Castillo. That's who will be facing. Snyder, Jacoby, and Castillo. Due up for the Jays. For the Indians, rather. So Snyder, 1 for 2. 2-2, and that's a Lomax. Line out to third, but nobody else is on base, so it's just a simple 1 out as Gruber snags it. 1 down for Brooke Jacoby. 5-11 right-handed. That's a ballpark single check. That's a 16 though, so that will be a line out to short. 2 down. 2 down, and that's going to send up Carmen Castillo for the Cleveland Indians, and Castillo 0 for 1. 6-11, and that's a ground ball first base X. That's Upshaw. He's a 2-E11. 2 and a 14, he'll get to it. E11, he has to avoid 3, 6, 8, 15, and 18. And he does, so it's going to be a 3-1 ground out as he will flip the key covering, and that will end the inning. So 6 innings are in the books here in Cleveland. We got a good one going. It's Toronto 2 and Cleveland 1. And this will be the point of fatigue for both pitchers now. The 7th inning will be the beginning of their fatigue. So it is definitely something to keep track of. It'll be Barfield, McGriff, and Witt due up for the Jays here in this top of the 7th. Make sure that everything is still fits here because we're moving over to the right side of the score sheet now. So I want to make sure the ends of these cards aren't cut off. I went the wrong way. I meant to go this way, didn't I? So let's see. I think there we got it right there, at least for now. May have to move it over a little bit later on in the 9th, but right now I think we're okay. I think everything fits at this point. Best I can tell. All right. Jesse Barfield. 6-6, and that is a 1-10 single in the LC lines to short. That's a 5. It'll be a single for Barfield. Leadoff single for Barfield. He will not be held. And here's Fred McGriff. He has had a rough day. He's grounded into a double play and struck out. That's a 1, though, so chance of a wild pitch on Candiotti, and he's a 13 on his wild pitch rating. And he just uncorked one, so that will move Barfield up to second base. That could be big. It takes the double play out of the equation, if nothing else, and it puts a runner in scoring position for Fred McGriff. Crime Dog. 212, and that's a ballpark blast on a 212. Home run 1-8. That's a 4. It is gone. Crime Dog says, "What do you mean I'm struggling? That's my 3rd home run and my 4th and 5th run driven in." It's a 2-run bomb for Fred McGriff, the Crime Dog. And Candiotti may be near the end, as he is getting close to fatigue, and the bullpen for the Cleveland Indians is loosening. Look at it again, 212. It is a ballpark blast, and home runs are 1-8, and that's a 4. So McGriff goes deep. They would like to get Candiotti through the inning, but they may not be able to. Let's look at their bullpen and see who, if anybody needs to be rested from Cleveland or whether they're all available. Looks like Carlton needs to be rested, so he'd be one of the last ones to go in. Vandenberg, a lefty, is okay, and Camacho, a righty, is okay, and so is Doug Jones, and so is Waddell, and so is Rich Yett. So they've got all kinds of possibilities there. Right now, Candiotti pitching to Ernie Witt, 6-11. Ground ball first base X, that is Tabler. He's a 4. 4-11. He will get to it. His error rating is E25. He's got to avoid, boy, it's a long list of numbers here. 3, 9, 11, 12, 14, 17, and 18. That is a 14. Let's see. E25, is there a 4? Yes, there is. It's a 1-base error. It's a 1-base error on Tabler. And things are going from bad to worse. Now Kelly Gruber, the batter. One more base runner, and Candiotti will be tired. Witt not being held. Here's Gruber. 5-7, and that's a ground ball, second base X. That is Franco. He's a 2E26. They could really use a double play. 2 and a 10, though, I think is going to be a fielder's choice. No, 2 and a 10 is a G1, so it might be a double play. As long as he doesn't boot it. E26, he's got to avoid 13, 15, and 17. And he does, so it's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. Candiotti needed that one in the worst way. Now he might be able to get out of the inning. 2 out spaces clear for the number 9 hitter, Sharperson. So looking for Candiotti to go 7 and then turn it over to the pen. 6-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. That's unfortunately that's Corey Snyder. He's a 4, and that's an 8, so that's going to get through for a base hit. 4 and an 8, or is it? No, it's not, actually. 4 and an 8 is a G3. Take it back, so that will not be a base hit. Might be an error, though. E48, he's got to avoid 3, 6, 12, 15, 16, and 18. That's a 6 as an E48, and there is a 6 right there, so it's a 1-base error on Corey Snyder. Second error of the inning on the Cleveland Indians. And Candiotti can't get out of the mess because of his defense. In fact, that's going to do it for Candiotti. They're going to go ahead and pull him. With the switch hitting Fernandez coming up, they're going to pull Tom Candiotti. So we will go to the bullpen. The call to the bullpen has been made. Candiotti is going to go 6 2/3. He will give up 6 hits. So far, 4 runs. All earned are his responsibility, but he's responsible for the runner at first as well. Check his walks and strikeouts. He walked 1. And I think that was it, just the 1 walk to Barfield. Striking out 1, 2, 3, just 3 strikeouts. And now a left-hander will be coming in for the Cleveland Indians. And it will be left-handed tossing Ed Vandenberg. So Vandenberg will be coming on. And we'll get the numbers on Vandenberg. On the replay, Vandenberg is 1-1, no saves, but an 11.57 earned run average, 17 pitched, 13 hits, 6 walks, 4 strikeouts. But he's in there to try to get this final out against Tony Fernandez. So Vandenberg, and we got to get his numbers for holding. He's a -4. Vando's a +1, so that makes it a -3 on the run game. So Tony Fernandez steps to the plate against Vandenberg. Sharperson at first, not being held. 6'4", switch hitter batting right-handed is a catcher X. Catcher in this case is Bando. He's a 2E2. 2 and a 20 for a catcher is a G1. And we'll make sure there's no error. It's an E2. The only error is going to be on a 317 or 18. And it's not going to be an error, so it'll be a 2-3 ground out to end the inning. So Vandenberg can close the book on Candiotti, 4 runs, 4 earned. So Vandenberg gets him out of the jam, keeps the score reasonably close. And we go to the 7th inning stretch. Score, Toronto 4, Cleveland 1. And now, since we're in the 7th inning, substitutions can be made freely. So Gallagher, the center fielder, who is 0 for on the season, is going to be called back, and they will bring on a pinch hitter. Don't know who they have on the bench that's any good. They've got Dempsey, Hall, Bernazard, and Nixon. So, boy, with the lefty on the mound, I think they're going to just go with Otis Nixon, and he'll stay in the game to play center field. So Otis Nixon will pinch hit here. Pinch hitting in the 7th and going to center field in the 8th. So on the computer, let me bring in Otis Nixon and get his numbers. Just a 4-man bench. They got extra bullpen arms, but only a 4-man bench. So Nixon is hitting a $150 in 20 at bats. No homers, 2 runs driven in. Obviously, he can run if he gets on base, make things happen. So here's Jimmy Key. This is his fatigue inning as well, don't forget. So Otis Nixon, see if he can get something started. It's a 2-7 against a left-hander, and that's a ground ball to short. I know you can't, it's hard to see it on the little computerized thing, but it's ground ball shortstop A. And Nixon is retired. One away for the catcher, Chris Bando. Bando's 0 for 2. 4-12, switcher batting right-handed is a ground ball back to Jimmy Key. 2 down. And really, Jimmy Key, since that rough first 2 innings, he has just been lights out pretty much. So Indians couldn't get to him early when they needed to, and now they're paying the price for it. Here's Franco. 110, and that's a single. So it's a leadoff single for Franco. He's doing his job. His 364 average just went up some more. He's 2 for 2 with 2 walks, so can't blame Franco. Franco will be held, but down 4-1, they won't try to send him. Here is Pat Tabler. Key to Tabler. Oops, Suadice. Let's re-roll that again. 111, and that's a hit by pitch. So he gets plunked to continue the inning. Don't think Jimmy Key was intending to do that. You don't put guys on base. First hit by the pitch of the game. And now here's Joe Carter. He is the tying run at the plate. Joe Carter with 1 long ball can tie this game. 1-5, and he just missed a chance at it, but 1-5 is a ground ball to short, and that will end the inning. So 7 innings are in the books. Score still 4-1. We'll insert Otis Nixon into center field. And we'll see if Vandenberg, I'm assuming Vandenberg has only faced 1 batter, so I'm assuming he will come back out. And he'll be facing Upshaw, Mosby. So yeah, a couple lefties coming up, so Vandenberg's definitely going to be in there. So Nixon is your new center fielder. And Nixon is a 2E11. Gallagher was a 2E13, so obviously a little bit better, although Gallagher has a 0 arm, Nixon's a +2 arm, if that comes into play. Top of the 8th, and here is Upshaw. 6'3", lefty on lefty. His ground ball pitcher X, he is a 3E20. 3-11 should be okay for a pitcher. 3-11 is a G3, so that's good enough. And he's an E20, so that means he's got to avoid 6, 10, 11, 15, 17, and 18. That is an 11. He could not avoid it. So an error on Vandenberg, and that's yet another error on Cleveland. That is their 3rd error of the game. All coming in the last 2 innings. And that's going to put the leadoff man Upshaw on base. He will be held, but he won't go anywhere. It's got to be held because he has the asterisk. If we don't hold him, he's going to get the lead automatically. So they will hold him on. And here's Lloyd Mosby. Vandenberg has to shake off that error. 5-3 left-handed. Ground ball first base C. That'll get the runner to second base. As Vandenberg can only, as Tabler can only flip it to the pitcher covering Vandenberg for the out. 3-1 if you're scoring at home, and by now you should know you should be. So now this brings up the righties coming up, Bell and Barfield. So Cleveland will make a call to the bullpen again for a right-hander. That'll be all for Vandenberg. Vandenberg's going to go 2/3 of an inning. Not give up anything, but he is responsible for the runner at second base. And a right-hander will be coming in for Cleveland. And we'll see who that's going to be. Looks like it's going to be who do they want to turn to here? Who's got the almost don't want to do yet because I prefer to have him when he's got a clear inning. But you know what? We're going to bring him in anyway. Rich Yett. Rich Yett is your new pitcher for Cleveland. Rich Yett. He will be on to face these right-handers, Bell and Barfield. Yett has a -4 hold, so that again will be a -3 on his pitcher hold. So Rich Yett on the replay, 0-1 with a save, 6.75 earned run average, 8 innings pitched, 8 hits, 6 walks, 4 strikeouts. So Yett to Bell. Infield looking to turn 2 and get out of this mess. 3-6 for Bell. He struck him out, so that's, not bad either. They'll take it. 2 down, and that will send up Barfield. Barfield runner at second, so it is a clutch situation for Barfield. And he loses a clutch single on a 1-8. But that's a 6-10 on Yett, and that is an in-home run straight up on Rich Yett. That is gone, a 2-run home run for Jesse Barfield. You can see it right here. A 6-10 on Rich Yett is an in-home run, and obviously Barfield has normal power. So that is long, and that is gone. A 2-run home run for Jesse Barfield. Those runs are unearned, but they all count just the same. And for Barfield, that is home run number 3, RBIs 16 and 17 on the season. And the Blue Jays lead it 6-1. So Yett got the first out with a strikeout, but couldn't get out of the jam. And here's McGriff. Speaking of home runs, he homered his last time up. 4-11. And that's a ground ball back to Yett. He's an E0. He is a 3 E0. So as long as he gets to it, it won't be a problem. 3 and a 4 is a G3, so that he does get to it. 1-3 put out to end the inning, but 2 more runs come in. It is now 6-1. Favor of Toronto. As the Blue Jays looking to go 10-4 and keep pace with the Milwaukee Brewers, as the Cleveland Indians fall further and further behind in the standings. Right now, Andre Thornton is your batter. Jimmy Key allowed 2 base runners last inning, so we've got to keep an eye on him just to make sure he doesn't get too fatigued. And it's no longer a save situation, so it looks like Nunez, a righty for the Blue Jays, is loosening in the bullpen. So Jimmy Key facing Andre Thornton. Oh, kind of backwards, but Jimmy Key up here. Andre Thornton. Jimmy Key. 2-10 for Thornton is a ground ball to short. Fernandez an easy play. 1 away for Corey Snyder. Corey Snyder, shortstop. 1 for 3. 5-3, and that's a ground ball first base C. So Upshaw will flip it to Key covering for out number 2. 2 down, and it's Brooke Jacoby time. He's 0 for 2. They'll probably have Key go 8 innings and then leave it at that. 4-5, and that's a fly to left. That's going to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down. And Jimmy Key well on his way to improving to 4-0 on the replay. As we go to the top of the ninth, they're going to leave Rich yet in there. He's in there to take one for the team and save the rest of the bullpen. It'll be Ernie Witt due up to lead it off for the Jays. It'll be Witt, Gruber, and Sharperson against Yet. 2-9. Witt against the right-hander on 2-9. 1-4 is a homer. That is a 4, and there you go. Ernie Witt just unloads on Yet. 2-9. 1-4 is a home run. 5-20 is a double. That's a 4. It is gone. Ernie Witt, his first home run of the season. RBI number 6. And it is now 7-1 Blue Jays. 7 unanswered runs by the Blue Jays. But like I said, Yet is just going to have to take one for the team. Here is Gruber. 5-5, and that is a strikeout. He's not tired yet. One away, and that is up to Sharperson now. 110 for Sharperson. That's a ballpark single check. It's 1-11, but that's a 14. Pop up to third. I'm going to keep the original result. With nobody on base, I keep the original result. 2 down, and here comes Tony Fernandez. 5-9, switch hitter batting left. It's a pop up to first. Tabler puts it away, but another run comes in for the Jays on the home run from Ernie Witt. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Last chance for the Indians. Not that there is much of a chance. And they trail it by the score of 7-1. And the Blue Jays will make a call to the bullpen as they will bring on Jose Nunez. No, actually, they're not going to bring on Jose Nunez. He has long relief. They want to save him for long relief. They'll actually bring in Dwayne Ward. Dwayne Psycho Ward. In the 87 season, he was 1-2 with a 6.94 earned run average. So I figure he's probably the better one to go with. So Dwayne Ward is going to come on for the Jays. Try to wrap this thing up. And we'll get the numbers on Jimmy Key, the outstanding numbers after he struggled the first 2 innings. He just took over. So Jimmy Key goes 8 innings. Gives up just 4 hits and a run. He did walk 5, and all of those came in the first 2 innings. No walks after that, struck out 3. So Jimmy Key looking to go 4-0 and give the Blue Jays their 10th win. He'll be facing Castillo, Nixon, and Bando. Those are the scheduled hitters. Hall and Bernazard are up, so Hall will actually pinch hit for Nixon. So we'll get Hall to pinch hit for Nixon. And Bernazard will pinch hit for Bando. So we'll have 2 pinch hitters coming on for the Indians. First one will be Mel Hall. And the second one will be Bernazard. So we're going to have Castillo, Hall, and Bernazard. Those are the scheduled hitters here in the 9th against Dwayne Ward. But first, Castillo will swing away. That's a 1-5, and that's a ground ball to third. So Gruber makes the play. 1 away, and now Nixon being called back, and Mel Hall will pick up a bat now that the right-hander is in the game. Mel Hall will swing away. Hall hitting 445 at bats, 2 home runs, 11 runs driven in, but mainly plays against right-handers, not the left-handers. So Mel Hall getting the at bat. 1-4, that's a ballpark single check. That's a 5. It will be a single for Mel Hall. Pinch hit single. So his batting average improves. He will not be held at first base, obviously, with a 7-1 game. Nobody's going anywhere. Here's Bernazard. He's going to pinch hit for Bando. And Bernazard, let's bring him into the game and get his batting average. If somehow it miraculously goes to the 10th inning, Rick Dempsey would catch, but not likely to happen. Bernazard hitting 275, a homer and homer and 7 runs driven in. Nothing on the Havoc. Ward to Bernazard, 1-7. That's a strikeout. So Bernazard strikes out in the pinch. 2 down, and last opportunity is Julio Franco. He's 2 for 2 with 2 walks. He's done what he's been asked to do. They were all against Jimmy Key. 6-5. He's going to strike out here against Ward, and there is your ball game. Ball game is over. The Cleveland Indians fall to the Blue Jays by the score of 7-1. Jays improved to 10-4. Cleveland drops to 7-8. And we'll do the totals very quickly once I bring them up on the computer. We know the winner is Jimmy Key. He is now 4-0 as the winner. The loser is Candiotti. He is 0-2 as the losing pitcher. Rich Yett went 1 2/3. Gave up 2 hits, 2 runs. That was the 2-run homer. No walks and 2 strikeouts. Actually, not 2-run homer. He gave up 2 solo shots. 1 to Barfield and 1 to Witt. So it was 2 solo shots he gave up. Ward the 9th pitched 1 inning, gave up a hit, nothing else, struck out 2. So the final line score, the Blue Jays 7 runs on 8 hits and no errors. The Indians 1 run on 5 hits, and they committed 3 errors. Left on base, Blue Jays 3. Cleveland left 9 on base. In those first 2 innings, they had Key on the rope. They left the bases loaded, and I thought it might come back to bite them, and it certainly did. So April 21st is now in the books. Cleveland drops to 7-8. Blue Jays go to 10-4. Next game will be the Seattle Mariners and the Minnesota Twins in the Metrodome. And in that one, it will be a pitching matchup of Mark Langston for the Mariners and Bert Blyleven for the Twins. I think that's why I chose that game. I like the pitching matchup. So, hope you enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced 1987 American League Style. Jimmy Key improves to 4-0, leads the league in wins. And let's see what he did for his ERA. I'm sure that didn't hurt either. Let me check out his ERA real quick. Under the Toronto team stats, Jimmy Key he improves his ERA to 1.41. 4-0, 32 innings. He's averaged 8 innings a start. He's gone 8 innings He's gone 8 innings almost every inning. He has 1 shutout on the season. So one game he went 7 innings. Everything else he went 8 innings. So he's had a really solid first part of the season, and is getting the job done for the Blue Jays as they try to chase down those Milwaukee Brewers. As we look at the current standings as they are right now, Milwaukee leads Toronto by 2 games. Milwaukee is 12-2. Toronto is 10-4. Cleveland drops to 7-8. They're now 5.5 games back. In the West, Oakland leads the Western Division by 3 games over the White Sox. Oakland is 12-3. White Sox are 8-5. Everybody else is under 500. Seattle, Kansas City, and Minnesota, Texas, all within 5.5 games. So that's going to do it from here. April 22nd will be the next game to be on the video, but the next video on the channel hope to be a live stream, and it's going to be Game 6 of the 1979 Inside Pitch World Series, and that's Baltimore leading Pittsburgh 3-2. Game 6 in Baltimore, John Candelaria against Jim Palmer. So thank you for tuning in and sitting through all this game with me. If you made it the whole way, congratulations. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.